ดิ
Brethren, please put us in YouTube. Sorry, in Facebook.
already
Good morning and happy new moon, Bhante, and all Kalyanamita, Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 57 by Bhante Dr. Ganggo Dawila Chandima. Malaysian celebrated Teachers' Day 2 days ago, so I would like to take this opportunity to wish and thank Bhante for becoming our Dhamma teacher. Thank you, Bhante, for the teaching and guidance for more than 1.5 years now. Tonight is the 8th class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and we are going to continue discussing the middle path about right living, sammāājīva. Sammāājīva. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is the 5th sutta from the total of 10 sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amappadana Class Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 56 classes there. The sutta discussion Zoom class is always open. Therefore, whoever that wish to join the class where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amappadana Class Facebook Messenger. We are always welcoming newcomers. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggo Dawila Chandima, currently is the Senior Advisor at Sutta Canada, a virtual Dhamma organization that helps beginners as well as expert students in learning Dhamma in a variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Patisotta's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on a regular basis. You can check on Patisotta with the link www.patisotta.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Ganggo Dawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as a Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante. Thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Ariana. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sutta Discussion Day 57, as exactly Ariana said, and which is the 8th class of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta cannot have a certain number of classes, but for the sake of understanding, we will be, I would say, sectioning these discussions about the Sutta. So we have today Aliana, Lim, Kim, Brother Boo, Kelvin, Sadhris, Lim, TC Lim, Yen, Chingna, Hazel, Sita, Jacqueline, and B. So I think probably some others might join as we continue so the discussion. So yeah, it's good to remind that Teachers' Day, is it Malaysian Day? Malaysian Teachers' Day,
Yeah.
I guess, right? Teachers'
Yes.
Day and the new moon. So they are wonderful, I would say, days for our discussion too, right? Yeah, so now in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, we've been coming down to discuss most of the factors, especially in the Eightfold Noble Path, Noble Eightfold Path. We have discussed about sammāditthi, sammāsankappa, sammāvāca, sammākamma, and today is going to be sammāājīva. Now, for those who might not know how we actually came into discussing about the Noble Eightfold Path, I want to remind that we came down to that part. We came down to that particular topic from the Four Noble Truths, right? I want to just revisit how we actually started off Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta's context and how we came down to this point. Sharing. All right. Always the 5 ascetics. They are not anymore 5 ascetics. They became arahants. 3D pictures. Okay. Right. That takes time. All right, so we started about the sutta some weeks ago, the background. And then the Buddha says that there are 2 extreme ways that monks should, I would say, give up. These are them: Kama, Sukallika, and Patilampana Yoga. Buddha first described about sensual indulgence in terms of clinging to 5, I would say, how do we explain that? Clinging to 5 aggregates, and then self-mortification. Buddhism has no hard practice. That is why we said self-mortification, Attakalamutana Yoga, should also be given up. Because some people take Buddhism as a very hard, I'm gonna do this today and maybe next month and a couple months, next year, I should be this. And it's not like it's a smart, wise practice. Those who know how to be smart and wise, they know how to do it. It's a mental process. And then we came down to middle part. So we are here today, somewhere here, sammāājīva, sammāājīva, 90. So we have yet to study Vayama Sati Samadhi. Before we jump into the probably the expanded more information about truth, Four Noble Truths once again. See. All right. So sammāājīva. What is samma again? I think I have explained to you many times what samma means. Samma means
Wholesome.
Right.
Yeah, right is the most popular translation, but it couldn't be
Wholesome.
right because right has different connotations.
Wholesome.
Yeah, wholesome. These wholesome aspects. Actually, I always think about that some of the English words that we know, they come from extremely Christian-based context. So we have to sort of filter out sometimes these words. Otherwise, we might give meaning to the Buddhist teachings, because Buddhist teachings sometimes cannot be explained in some English words, because if you don't know the context of Pali, it is very difficult to understand. That means those who know some Pali have a better chance of understanding in a bit more comprehensive way, bit more easy way. Samma can be better translated. I'm not saying it is the demons word. Samma can be better translated to be as wholesome. Now someone might argue, what is wholesome? Because it has another English meaning, wholesome, holistic, right? But this could be at least better, you know, rather than saying right, because right has different connotations, as I said. Right of way, who is right, is mostly a legal word, you know. Who is right, who is wrong, who drove right, who drove wrong on the highway or roads, you know, who acted rightly, who acted wrongly. So it's kind of like very embedded in the secular context. All right, Samma. And then Ājīva. Anybody familiar with this word? At least part of this word, Ājīva. Let me type that for you. Yeah. Ājīva. So, Ājīva. Ājīva. Now, Jiva is a Sanskrit term that many people know, Jiva means, what is Jiva? Jiva means
So,
life. Jiva means life. It's life. Then Jiva, What does mean in Pali? Now we need a bit of Pali. This word. It is a prefix. Prefix in Pali. Means means to a certain place. Jiva, right? It perhaps says the boundary of something. Boundary of something. Ananda, interesting, huh? Ananda. What is Nanda? Nanda means joy. Then Ananda. Ananda. What does Ananda mean? If we take to define, to represent the boundary, that means to the point of joy. That means to the extent of joy. Then there are other people called Upananda. Another prefix. I would say to the extent. Sampaliya. Then we have this word called Upananda. 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 You see Nanda over there. But we take this Upa. Upa is a prefix. Upa means near. Or I would say in the vicinity. Okay. Now, if you take Upananda, Nanda there, Nanda means joy. Upananda means near joy, or in the vicinity of joy. So, if somebody has this word term as his or her name, it could be not the joy, but near the joy. Interesting. Near the joy. So, Jiva means to the extent of life, which means a living. No? Now, a lot of scholars, non-scholars translate Jiva in their own ways. Most Western monks, they translate Jiva to be livelihood, which presumes a kind of a job, occupation. So this word, livelihood, is they say this is Jiva. But the problem here is that can someone who is on the path to become an arahant consider any set of jobs? That is a question, right? Because Noble Eightfold Path is specifically for somebody who is who is aiming to attain Nibbana. So will that person have a set of jobs? That is a question, number one. So with that, I would say some translate is to be living, the way how someone living. Jiva means living, not livelihood. So, some people even translate arhanthood, buddhahood, sotapannahood, sakadagamihood, anagamihood. I mean, so we have to look at how it works, right? Become an arahant, become a sotapanna, become a sakadagami, become an anagami, become Buddha, become a Pacceka Buddha. Buddhahood, right? Which has that hood suffix. But we simply say Jiva means living, because everybody has to live, right? Choosing the jobs is a different matter of life. So Jiva could simply mean living, right? Living or wholesome living. All right. So then even monks, nuns, they should have a way of living. That is why they approach devotees, dayakas, isn't it? That is why they want a set of dayakas, right? Without dayakas, can a monk live? It is very difficult for them to live, because they need pindapata, they need a place to stay. They don't live in the jungle, right? In the forest. right? Even now in the forest, people have to go there and offer dana. They can't even find food in the forest, isn't it? Because at that time in India, those monks who stayed in the forest, they came to the village. But now people have to go to the forest and then offer dana for this particular forest hermitage. I mean, we don't say which is good, which is bad, which is okay, which is not okay, because time has changed. Things have changed. So we look at it from the modern factors, right? Anyways, so I was trying to say that even a monk, although she left the house, but they still need a form of living. They need, because Dayakas also do not, probably sometimes they do not treat every monk in the same way, right? So you may pick up one monk, okay, this monk may be a good monk, better monk. Treat him, right? Treat her well, right? So then some monks get more, some nuns get more, some monks maybe not. Because it's what you see from your naked eyes, right? So they need a living. That living is not a living like how lay people live, money, and then maybe choosing jobs, probably getting promoted. Isn't it? Some monks get promoted in the temple, deputy abbot, right? Okay, promotions apply to monks too. Constructions of the buildings in the temple. So, you need money, donations. So it's pretty certain form of living. So they don't work, most of them. So then they are kind of having living. So lay people, of course, they have a living. So Ajiva in that context is a pretty important factor. But I see there is an overlapping between last couple of factors over here. What is overlapping over here? We discussed about samma kammanta, samma vacha, then samma sankappa. So these three factors overlap with sammāājīva, isn't it? Because sammāājīva means that one has to find a moral living, a virtuous living, right? So when you say virtuous moral, then definitely speech part connects to this, action part connects to this, then even the intention part connects to this one, right? So kind of an overlapping, but do not get misunderstood. This has to be particularly understood because it has something to say different than those three. Do we have a very easy relationship with our living, some folks? Or do we have a very, complex relationship with our right livelihood or right living, actually, in this case? Like, do we disturb us all the time? Like, about the kind of the job that we are doing. Is it more like, I get asked by a lot of people sometimes, Bhante, I was a research scientist in my, young time, middle age sometimes. And I had to, for experiment purposes, I had to kill rats, those creatures for research purpose, probably to get promotion, probably to get some more perks. I did them, but now I worry about it. I made a lot of good money, but I go back to that past. Now asking questions about, at that time I did not realize, I didn't want to realize too. It's good money, good money, education. I remember a story which was told by one monk in Canada, an English monk, where a Thai student came to Canada to study for his PhD dentistry. As a part of his research, he had to finally kill rats, checking something about the teeth of the mice, rats, and then finally kill. So he was trying to talk to his supervisor lady, saying that I can't do this, it's against my religion. Although he's a nominal Buddhist back in Thailand. Then she was upset about it because we we gave you a scholarship, we gave you everything. Okay, all right, so we will theoretically kill rats here. So that was the answer solution. So she said, let's theoretically kill rats, because he didn't want to kill rats, right? So things like that can happen. So one big question is the morality of the kind of the job. Some people very much disturbed during the time, maybe after, in the last phase of their life. This is one interesting thing. Second is what do some people very disturbed about what do governments do with our money? Do they take a lot of tax from us? Even the Buddha said we have to pay tax in a couple of suttas. But does the government really manage our money as tax? So very much disturbed about it, you know. So these are two very important aspects, you know. I think mostly people worry about, disturb about whether I can do a moral job. Is there any job that is purely moral in this world? Or every job carries a mixture, combination of good and bad, more or less, right? Well, I mean, yeah, on the surface level, yes, teacher, yeah. So although we see that, you know, there may be a way how to avoid this thing, but we try our best. But normally, people have to do the jobs that are being offered at the time. So they have to go, they have to apply, they have to be with those jobs. So it could be a problem to some, because in Buddhism, did the Buddha say any jobs that are not good to pursue as a Buddhist? Have you ever heard this thing?
What?
Were there any suggestions from the Buddhist side that these jobs are not good for someone who follows?
Maybe it's butcher. Butcher could be the one. Weapons and poisons and all that.
Poisons, selling weapons, and then being a butcher, is it?
Yeah.
Selling meat, is it? Meat or butcher. What else?
Delivery.
Surgeons, doctors.
Delivery, trading.
Will not go to certain jobs at the moment. I mean, what are the certain industries, I would say, that the Buddha asks people to avoid?
Working in slaughtering houses, like killing chicken, killing cow, slaughterhouse.
Okay. So finally, we could say selling meat in the final analysis, selling weapons, selling intoxicants. How about human smuggling? The Buddha clearly was against about it. Human smuggling, slavery, right? Because at that time, there were a lot of slaves that other, you know, probably religious traditions, they were maintaining to some extent. Probably the Brahmanistic society, slavery was one of the things. So probably this was a sneak peek of Buddha's thought, depending on the time. But if you look at the nature of these jobs, they are around the corner of our life, right? Our normal life, because you're gonna go to the grocery shop, you're gonna buy the meat, right? And somebody has to sell it, right? If you're gonna be really, I would say, honest about it, you know. And then weapons is a big issue. So like some societies in the world, because they massively depend on the weapons, like the US, it's a big industry. And intoxicants, right? So it is also a massive industry, first of all, right? And slavery, human smuggling, it still happens in different ways, right? It's a right? So Buddha asks us to think about the nature and try to avoid as much as you could, right? So try to do a job where these things are not a part of. Prostitution, well, slavery, human smuggling, I guess. He did not particularly say prostitution. In the Pancha Vanijja Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, only five jobs. I think it is not a comprehensive list. It just simply said according to the society. One of the very famous devotees of the Buddha was a prostitute, Ambapali. She offered the mango grove and well, at the Kasi. So not saying that he approves that, but people can think about what is better, because I think what matters is your intention, right? Intention part, that's what we have to discuss about it with these certain types of works. So before we jump into this part, I wanted to let you know that how sammāājīva was explained in another sutta. This sutta is called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And it's going to be, I guess, Majjhima Nikaya 170. Type it for you. Okay, this is the sutta. Now, this sutta actually explains Noble Eightfold Path in very descriptive details. In this sutta, Buddha says, sammāājīva includes couple of ways how people try to live that is applicable to both lay people and the monastics. Let me type them for you so you will know what they are all about. There are 5 bad ways that everybody has to avoid. We'll see. Kuhana, lapana, nemitti kata, nippesi kata, labhena labhang, niji gisanata. Okay. Scheming, talking, hinting, belittling, pursuing gain with gain. Okay. So these are the ways anybody should avoid fundamentally. Especially from his or her intentional, behavioral, verbal parts. And then we'll talk about that professions and jobs part at the end, because this is what the Buddha said according to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Let's talk about kuhana, scheming. Now, another way to look at this scheming is hypocrisy. So never ever make money out of kuhana. Right? So, any example of kuhana? I would say that showing good qualities actually not in his or her life. Right? Now, this is particularly relevant to monastics, because not even to monastics, even to lay people. Probably we can take somebody who has no particular skills for a job, but showing that I have the skills, right? Could be a problem, right? Adding some, false, I would say, skills into the bio, into the resume, CV, or probably acting on something that that person really has no skills, right? Both monks, nuns, and lay people should not practice kuhana in terms of making his, her, or their living. Now, any examples from the lay people side about kuhana, scheming, or I would say hypocrisy? Do people make money out of hypocrisy or scheming? A lot of people might think, is that scamming? Yes, scamming, yes. Scheming, right? Yes, scammers do the same thing, right? They call you sometime, they say that you got a lottery, you got this and that, right? And you want something, and we are police, we talking to you, we from the bank, it's good, kind of a hypocrisy, but it can actually mean the second thing too. But hypocrisy should not be maintained in anybody's life to make money, to make a living. So that is very interesting. Any examples? Anything that you know on your side about scheming or hypocrisy that people make to make money? Yeah.
I think for me, I say it's politician, the biggest hypocrisy.
Yeah, I mean, that's of course like a visible thing everywhere in the world. I mean, let's talk it from our circles, like what we see in our circles. That is the most affecting thing to us, right? Like at workplace. Yeah.
Bhante, how about marketing schemes?
I
Sometimes
think that is second. That comes to the second one, lapana, talking part.
okay.
Marketing people have to talk. Definitely it comes from kuhana, but then narrow down to lapana part, talking part. So I think initially when people are hypocritic, they try to exploit your money. If you are a hypocrite, you're going to exploit other people's money. As you said, politicians, there could be good politicians too, respect to them, but there will be many. And like this applies to every, let's say an academician, a scholar who's trying to exploit other people's research, right? Scientist, probably anybody in whatever his or her field, right? Remember the disciple monk of Mahakāshyapa? Remember the incident, what happened to Venerable Mahakāshyapa? Venerable Mahakāshyapa had two disciples, two monks. One monk is very lazy. He does not do temple chores. But what happens is that when the other monk is boiling water, making whatever the food, he's grabbing everything and then going and offer them to Venerable Mahakāshyapa. So he didn't know what's going on. Oh, he gets the tea, you made it, huh? Food, dana. So one day, Arahant Mahakāshyapa saw this. He is not the one who is making. So he, after coming from the Pindapata, he said, I want to talk to you. And then he said, do not do this again because this is not good, because the other monk is the one who is doing all this. Then Arahant Mahakāshyapa went outside. Once he left the temple, that monk set fire to the temple. Interesting, huh? The whole temple was in fire. Even Arahants could not take care of the disciples, right? So that hypocrisy, that somebody does it, but you take the credit for that, it's also hypocrisy. Why not? Right? We should not take other people's, what do you call, the labor, the whatever the hard work for us. If you take it, that's good.
That means taking credit.
Never ever take credit for other people's
effort.
We should get the credit for us. I think we should not expect that. If we are doing a good job, we will get it one day. We just do the good things just for the sake of good things. But if people are trying to take other people's credit, that is good. Very hypocrite.
What comes around.
Yes, others.
Let's put it straight to the point. Backstepper, backstep you to get all the credit that other people do. In front of the boss, you'll be doing all this nice thing, but behind is sneaking around.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens even in any place. It can happen even in a family too, right? Let's say you have a couple of kids. It can happen, right? Not every, it is not, I wouldn't say it is bad in the first place, but it happens because not everyone is same, right? Their way of functioning, their way of responding, right? Even among your relatives, even among your friends, right? But it can happen. So Kuhana is a basic embedded mental nature of some people. Like I'm going to take other people's. That's kind of like stealing, also, adinadana kind of taking other people's credit, taking other things. You're not doing anything. That nature. Why should I get it? Because I want to be the good dayaka. I want to be the good monk. I want to be good lay person, among others. You want to find out a way to live among others. So that intention, that is not nice, right? So yeah, Kuhan, it's pretty interesting, pretty easy to understand. Scheming, I would say hypocrisy, basically. Now, other ways of I would say exploiting a living comes from Kuhana. Second one, Lapana. Lapana means Kim. Now we come to your part. Lapana means talking, marketing part. If you are an insurance broker, if you are I don't want to mention all these jobs, but you should be able to talk very well. Get people. This happens.
So when you fall into the scheme, the marketing scheme, sometimes you may not get what you want.
What is promised?
No, empty promises.
Yeah.
Well, Kuhana can happen in many ways, right? It is not only one way. So we have to understand the basic nature of Kuhana. This evil mind to take other people's stuff and then to live comfortably, right? You're using an exploiting way to live, right? Yeah, yes. So
how, not good, Sorry, my voice is a bit rough because I have stuffy nose.
Yeah, so Lapana, when we talk about Lapana means that you're going to make a living out of talking, right? So I'm not saying that everybody who is in the industry of insurance, real estate, other investments, probably marketing executives, right? They are having Lapana to make a living because they all have to talk. Even a professor, even a teacher has to talk long hours, right? Definitely. It's not about talking. It's about talking and cheating people, misleading people, and let's say there's a property that is really a haunted property. Nobody buys it. And there is one real estate agent, who's trying to say a good property, it's cheap price. Somebody has to buy this, right? So misleading, probably it has no value, right? So you're going to add value because you simply want to sell it, right? Say, for instance, other situations, like you have a car that is really outdated. You have another equipment at your home that is really outdated, old one, but you're going to set a very high value. That's not the actual value. People are very happy. I bought it at 5,000. I sold it at 10,000. Right? Feeling happy about it, right? So, if it is not really valuable, then you might have engaged in love. If it is really valuable to that level, it's okay. But if it is not, it is a problem. So, Lapana should not be used to make a living. That means you should never mislead people and then make a living out of it.
Bhante, but what if it's their job?
Yes, that is why I said there are good people, there are good marketing executives, there are good real agents, estate agents. The thing is that there may be people who might do it by cheating people, use the marketing to cheat people. That is the problem, right? That could be the problem. Not that we're saying that marketing, anybody who is into marketing industry, they are doing a wrong job. We can't say that, right? Even you take lawyers, lawyer has to, right? Face for his or her client, right? Maybe make a story, Maybe he has to defend the client, right? Now she knows what she is doing, right? So we can't say lawyer is this and that. She knows whether the story is fabricated or real story. But has to go with the industry, right? So it is not to say that jobs are wrong, but the way how they do the job can be wrong. Even monks and nuns, if you say something that is not exactly the Buddha's teaching, you might do a wrong thing because people accept what you say, right? Right? Let's say that the Buddha said in here, we have to do like this. Right? Oh, really? We're gonna do it. So, look. So this can come down to even monastics. But there are people who have different good intentions. Remember that story we know even when we were young time. There was a mom who was always saying to children, to one son, you should not just go outside. Just go outside, stay home, you should study well. But if you go today, you're going to be meeting a big buffalo on the way. Oh, really? You say, oh, really? So he left the house. Then he really met a big buffalo on the way. So he thought to himself, may what my mom really thought about what she said by intention happen, not what she said. No mother, no father would expect any harm for their children. So there may be different ways to talk, but the intention exactly over here, it is about make a living out of talking by misleading people. Ne mitti kata, hinting. What does it mean? Hinting. Ne mitti. This is given mostly about a monk in the Pali canon. It is said that there was a monk who came to a devotee's house in the Pata, and then the devotee wanted to avoid giving dana. She said, Bhante, there is no food in my house, so I gotta go to a neighbor's house, find food, come back, you stay here, right? So she went. In the meantime, the Bhante went inside the kitchen. He saw all the food inside. Everything is there. But she said, I have no food. I gotta go find out from my neighbors. So, and then she came after to the monk after some time, and then she said, I couldn't find any food from my neighbor's house too. Then the monk said, yes, I knew it just before I left the temple. Then she asked, how did you know it? Because right after I left the temple, I saw a huge snake, like what do you call? Like that sugar cane that is hanging in your kitchen. The snake is like that long of the sugar cane. So because I was a little afraid of the snake, I grabbed a small stone just to scare him off. And then I saw some teeth of the snake, just like candy or something in your house, in your kitchen. So, so it's like, and then, so he was explaining about a situation, probably a situation like a maid situation to the devotee. And devotee knew that, oh, I cannot get rid of this monk. I have to pick some food and offer it to him. And then she offered dana to that monk. So yeah, insinuation. At the same time, you are trying to hint. At the same time, you are trying to make devotees to a situation that they cannot not offer dana. Right? The Buddha said that is not a good thing. Never ever demand anything from the devotees like that. If they want to offer, let them offer. If they don't want to offer, just walk away. Because there's no such thing that they must. But of course, devotees won't do that. But this was actually a very exceptional incident. So anyways, insinuation also, hinting about what they want. On the other hand, we need to understand how this can happen from the lay people's side. Do people hint to make money, make a living? How does it happen from the lay people side in their jobs, in their life? Any examples that you have noticed? Are there people on the road, on the street, and they are making some hints about something, and they are asking money or something? It could happen, right? Sometimes homeless people, probably. Sometimes even there are rich people on the street asking money. You know.
Yeah, Bhante, there are people that they bring like kids around, hang around and sit down with them like as though they got no food. And they put a bowl for you to throw money inside.
Mhm.
I mean, and then they use like handicapped kids and then go around.
Mhm.
But I don't know whether the money actually goes to the handicapped home or to their own pocket.
Yes. So multiple ways people do by hinting and then make a living out of that.
Some even
Any
dress
other?
monks to go around begging.
Yes, especially those monks who sell those amulets. Sometimes saying that they are not, they are Buddhist monks, but they
So
are
they're
not.
fake, right?
Yeah, they may be fake, just shave the hair. That's why devotees have to understand, you know, they just shave hair and then buy a piece of probably rope from a shop on the street and then just go slowly on the rope. Who
Yeah.
knows this is a real monk or not, right?
So they also trick the lay people.
They trick the lay people, they trick the monks too, you know, they trick everybody. And finally they trick themselves. So that's the thing, hinting is because it comes from Kuhan. Yeah, it comes from Kuhan. Yeah, so Nemitikata means they are hinting. And then
But real monks, they're not allowed to receive money, right? From, I mean, go around begging for money. But
well,
somehow the people throw in money to them.
that's the easiest thing because people don't like to sometimes make food. But if someone is pursuing money, it can be a problem. You know, it looks like that they are taking the shape of a monk and then using. I remember that there was an incident in Sri Lanka some times ago. I think he is not a monk, layperson. He knew that the chief monk is sick, so he shaved his hair and was able to get all the monk's
Yeah.
kit, and then started going from one house to the other house, saying, "Chief monk is sick, so we need temple need money." So people thought, "Oh, really? Yeah, chief monk is sick. Yes." So we had to give money. So he collected all the money from all the houses, but finally he was caught. Right? These things can happen. That's why the Buddha said, never ever judge anybody right away. Take time. Right? We take time to know people. So that is how we can minimize hinting part. Well, let's go to Nippesi-kata part, number 4, under sammāājīva. These are actually micchā-jīva, okay? Wrong living, unwholesome living. Kuhana is the first one. Lapana, kuhana is scheming or hypocrisy. Lapana is talking and making a living out of it. Nemitikata is hinting. Are there people who are just showing off that I have this and that? Actually, they don't have anything and they're going to make a credit out of it. You know what? I was so like this long time ago. I was there and they make a big story, right? So they are making stories to make a living out of it. Have you ever noticed such people? Right? So they talk and then actually what they're saying is not true. Right? So hinting has a lot of things. Nippesi-kata, the fourth micchā, the kind of micchā-ājīva is belittling. Belittling means what he calls cursing others, swearing others, or blaming others, criticizing others. You make the other person very stressed out, terrified, and then you create a path to make some money out of it. because of that particular act. There are certain events like that. So, you know, any examples in your personal life that where people try to, what do you call, raise their voice, probably, right? Probably scare people off, probably stress other people out, and then they get scared, right? Like I remember some people do when they go to some restaurants, they want to make a scene saying the food is stale, it's not properly cooked, not heated properly. They make a scene and then, you know, they try to make some ways to make some pocket money. The owner comes, you know, yeah, don't talk loud, you know, because we're gonna give you some money. Just calm down. Just walk away from our restaurant, right? Because if they make a big claim like that, they're going to be reported on Google reviews, Yelp. It can affect the business, right? Yeah, gangster types, gangsters. At the same time, you know, I think it's a coup. It's kind of a coup, you know. People do it like an organization. So, Nippesikata. What about other people who are trying to blackmail you online? It can happen on the internet. You have done this, you have done this, we have everything of you. If you don't give $1,000, we're gonna do something for you. Nippesikata, they are going to blame or belittle you and make a living out of it. Do many people fall prey to these issues? Many people. Why is it? Because they want to keep their dignity. They're scared of being, you know, public, right? So what should we do? With the Nippesikata people, we have to be very careful, right? Especially with our information, right? That's a big issue in today's world. Our information is always revealed by these companies, right? Right? They take, yeah, finally they take everything. It's better not to put all the information online, right? And have this, what do you call? Staying low-key perspective, right? Yes. So Nippesikata means there are people who are trying to threaten, blackmail, blame, criticize. Okay, have you seen people who are always criticizing others? Keep criticizing every day, the whole day they are criticizing, blaming. And finally, what happens? The person who is being criticized, who is very, how to say, very bad, finally, he or she is going to consent, probably to say yes to that particular. So probably they're going to take the responsibility, right? Nippesikata. Any examples from your life? We have to think. When you think, we can look at how these things happen. Okay, maybe you might come up with questions at the end. Last one about Micchājiva. Labhena labhang nijigisanata. Pursuing gain with gain. Are there people who market one gain to gain another gain? They do, huh? Sometimes they probably mostly do that. Let's say it can happen, especially from the monastic background can happen, but from the lay people's life can happen too. For example, I would say, let's say you are someone who has received something in wrong ways, probably under one of the previous Micchājiva ways, and you are trying to make something else. Maybe it's the same, probably a different thing from that particular gain, right? Probably, let's say there's a company who market a certain person. Probably they got that person, and then to market other people, right? Now, for example, I remember it's pretty interesting. There was a monk that I know that he was going through dialysis, actually. Dialysis, the what you call changing, the blood and the urine, that process, kind of a painful process. So he was looking for different options, and there was a time the doctor told him, okay, now you have a time to have a transplant. Okay, transplant, the sense of like having somebody else kidney to you. So he was very happy. When he was looking for people to get a transplant, kind of a similar thing, and he found a particular place where they claim that they cured a very famous politician's life by doing something to the kidney. The politician is a very high profile politician. You never seem to get to them and ask what really happened. So they are promoting that politician. So I personally remembered, I asked him, how do we know? How do we verify this incident? Can we know from the politician that he really fixed? He was really, his kidneys were really fixed by this particular doctor or somebody. They are marketing. Actually not. Actually not. So they are marketing one person to get another dividend, another something, pursue gain with another gain, right? People do like that. Sometimes there are a lot of companies, they market very high profile people. When this person was a part of our company, he was a director in our company, but he's not probably he was there for a short time, and that person also doesn't know that he's been promoted, she's been promoted by them. They're making money from others. So it's kind of a very much type of sammāājīva. Labhena, labha, nijagisana. Labha means dividend, or I would say gain, pursuing gain with another gain. Now, Dhamma folks, we already discussed that there are 5 ways that somebody can practice sammāājīva. And this is not even specific to lay people. This is 100% totally common to monastics too, because even a monastic can be hypocritic, right? They can be practicing lapana, they can be practicing nemikkata, they can be practicing nippesikata, also labhena labha nijagisana, right? So somebody might say to a devotee, you know what, ex-devotee came today and he offered this particular thing to the temple, and talking to the new devotee, right? Now the new devotee has to do something higher or bigger than this particular donation, right? It can happen from the temple background, right? From the lay people side, yes, it can happen definitely the way that we discussed. All right. Any questions about this before we jump into the what do you call the prohibited type of jobs that we discussed earlier? We will be going back there after this. Any questions about these 5 types of sammāājīva? Or may I ask you, is it very easy for us to make a living without these 5? Without falling into these 5? Is it very easy for us to do such? We are supposed to. We are supposed to be so, but it's a matter of your skill. It's a matter of your, working towards that. Because Dhamma is not natural. Dhamma is natural. Everything is Dhamma, but the practice of Dhamma is something that you have to work on. Any questions about these 5 sammāājīva? Okay, not at the moment.
Bhante, Ajiva is right living, right? So
Yes.
Nija Ajiva is the opposite.
No, sammāājīva is right living. Now, Miccāājīva is wrong living. Now, these are the wrong living ways of how someone can engage in wrong living. If you want to practice sammāājīva, you have to do the opposite of these 5, right? You should never be hypocritic. You should never scheme. You should never talk people to mislead and then to make money because of their misunderstanding, because you misled them. You should never hint to make money out of it. And then you should never belittle, threaten people to make money. Actually, people do that a lot. Some companies, some agencies, right? They con people, right? They con. Right? Finally, they make money out of it. And then labena laban nijigin sadami, you should never use one particular dividend gain to get another dividend gain. Right? These are Miccāājīva. Sammāājīva is the opposite. Now, a lot of people say sammāājīva is avoiding 5 types of or couple types of jobs. That is not going to be working, because if you really following this Noble Eightfold Path, you are not looking for certain jobs, because you are definitely avoiding immoral type of jobs. Let's go back to that again. So it is said that sattva-vanijja, 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 sattva-vanijja. So sattva-vanijja means selling animals. Now, according to Buddhism, this is not a recommended kind of job. But we cannot say this is a bad job. Buddha said this is, if you are engaging with that, better to walk away from this kind of job, because that is for your own. Not the job is wrong, because there are people definitely engaging in the industry, right? Definitely. You might go and buy food too. But the Buddha said, if you are really conscious about what you are doing, this might be a problem too. So he said, so you decide for yourself, right? But he doesn't say that you cannot be a Buddhist if you are engaging in this industry. Buddha never said so. If you say so, many people cannot become Buddhists, especially up north, right? Because they have to survive on animals, right? There are no plants, right? Then only vegetarians can become Buddhists. It's not going to work, right? So the Buddha never said something like that, but Buddha said, if you really hypersensitive, hyper-conscious about you, hyper-conscious, like that lady that I told you, Bhante, I feel what I did was, I said, what you did for your job? No, I was a research scientist. I did a lot of experiments with rats and cockroaches and other small. Now I really worry about what I did. I had to cut them. I had to do all that. Okay, see, you did it well. She said, I did it for academic purpose, educational purpose. Later, I found out some more money. I got promotions, but now I worry. Now I'm a retired person. Now everything comes back to me now. Now when I just sit down, have a nice coffee, tea, it all comes to me now. How can I avoid these memories? That's something to think about, you know. So that's why the Buddha said it's better to decide. Rather not saying selling meat is bad. He said this may not be a good work that somebody has to engage in.
Get down.
Okay. So on the other hand, sattva-vanijja means definitely, that means weapons, guns, right? Ammunitions. Definitely this is destructive, right? Because actually, if you look at this industry, it has been growing very fast in the last couple of centuries, right? A lot of people get killed, right? It's a different story, actually. You know? It's a very different story everywhere, right? So the Buddha said, involving, now what about operating a gun? That could be a problem in that sense. What about, can't I be a police officer? Can't I be a soldier, Navy, Air Force, right? The Buddha said it's okay. Like there were soldiers at that time, right? But the problem is that if you are in an industry where these weapons are being made, right? Generally to destroy other beings. On the other hand, what are the other types of jobs that we know normally? Intoxicants, poisons, right? Intoxicants and poisons, right? And slavery, human smuggling, right? They all are not good work. So now the problem is, are these only the jobs that we should not, or as lay people, you should not engage? There are thousands of jobs out there, right? So my suggestion for you is that you decide for yourself. If you are hyper conscious of what you want to do, if you are really thinking that my job matters to me, this really destroys my peace of mind when I think about what I'm doing, right? Then, of course, you make a decision for you. But there's no hard and fast rule. You should do this job and that job. This is less harmful than this particular job. But Buddha said, better to walk away. Suggestive things. All right. Any other questions? Let's go to the Q&A now. Any questions about today's sammāājīva?
Bhante, I would like to ask,
Mhm.
just now you were saying that people make weapons or weaponsmith, something that we should walk away from. How about those people, blacksmith, who make knives or scissors and things like that? So is it considered not good livelihood, or should we take into account how they perceive the purpose of the knife and the scissors and things like that?
Actually, satta vanicca doesn't mean exactly guns, because at the time of the Buddha, there were no guns. To be correct, to be honest, there were not guns, there were not nuclear weapons, right? Definitely, it was meant about any destructive weapons, and not these helpful tools like knife or scissor, because knife is mostly used by everybody to cut something off for kitchen purpose. Scissors can be used to cut something too, right? Even small scissors can be used by doctors to dissect, right? Take some biopsies, right? But maybe somebody can grab it and stab someone too, right? As you said, intention, yes. So I think what the Buddha might have meant was that it is not the industry probably, because there may be a company who is doing that for helping the household, but there may be a company who is making them to kill others, probably a shop, a particular shop that they are making probably swords, probably to something like that. Because I think it might disturb you, because you always see these tools, and you always see you have to involve with the planning for that, right? So partly I think there were certain places that were used to make household stuff, like the tools that you said, and there were places that were used to like create armory stuff, arms, to kill people, massive weapons at that time, probably some different weapons, different tools. So probably Buddha might have meant that we should not involve in such. Yeah, so it's basically places and the motive. I think you should probably check out the vision of the company, that some companies are trying to say that this is our mission, this is our vision, this is what we are planning to do in the future, right? So you might, I think if you are going for an interview, they're going to give you a handbook that this is our mission, this is our vision, this is what you're going to do, this is our plan, this is what's going to happen in next 10 years, right? So you're going to be a part of that kind of company. It's not that you cannot involve engage or do a job where tools like knife, scissors, and small gardening equipments are being made. So we can't say so. Yeah, someone is asking here, Jacqueline Lim, can I say so long the main intention is harmless and pure, then it should be? Yeah, I think a bigger part of this sammāājīva comes from intention, right? I remember somebody told me, I can't remember the exact reason, that he was working for the tobacco company. And now tobacco is mostly promoting, in some countries, I have seen the packet of the cigarettes, they are showing the lung cancers through the packet, right? In some countries, they say in small font size letters, the government advice, smoking causes health issues. But in some countries, they are showing the lung cancers intersections of the lung cancers very big, right? So there's a choice that someone can make, but it is still destructive in a way, right? So people get used to it and making money out of people's vulnerability, right? I think big part of this sammāājīva is about intention. So killing, stealing, taking intoxicants, they all are matter of intention. They are not matter of accident. If they are matter of accidents, nobody will go to Nibbana, right? Nobody. Because that is how we have to understand. So it is intention, but there's a higher chance of misusing intentions. Who knows the correct intention? Who knows the proper intention? Only you, right? So it's pretty tricky. But all in all, intention plays a bigger role. But some people are more conscious about what they are doing as a job. So I think if you are really hyper concerned about it, please walk away from such jobs and find a good one. It doesn't mean tomorrow you're going to give the resignation letter. Huh? Don't do that. I'm saying that think about it. Think about how it looks, how it means to you, whether you take it seriously, probably how you can do it in the next couple of years. If you are not really happy with this kind of an immoral job, you can think. Also think about, consider those 5 ways of practicing miccājīva. So you have to walk away from those 5. Any other questions about sammāājīva?
Yes, Bhante.
Mhm.
Let's say, for example, like butcher, killing is their job. I mean, not their job, it's their, it's their living, So can they do a lot of wholesome deeds in order to balance up their, the killing, the karma?
Can we do
A lot of wholesome deeds, wholesome job lah. I mean, to
I think,
balance.
to my understanding, I think job is a choice, right? Now, although we all going to walk away from certain jobs, somebody will do the job, right? Somebody will engage in any kind of job, even selling meat and fish, right? Even other parts of now we don't see butchers at the moment. We see their professions have been upgraded now. If you go to a supermarket, you don't see a butcher over there. You don't particularly recognize such people now. So probably now they have been industrialized, automated, the animal thing. I would say the meat cutting part. So what I'm saying is that I think this is personal matter, to my understanding. It's a personal matter. Like if you are really concerned about that, I should not involve in this industry, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to do something that makes me happy, right? But somebody will do it in whatever the purpose, right? So So we have to understand that we can, just because we walk away, we cannot stop somebody. But the butcher might have a good thought too. He might think that I'm doing good for the sake of sick people, making people so strong in their healthy lifestyle. Why not? Right? So we are not trying to say that this is going to be recommended, but if, like, for example, a soldier is carrying a gun and then probably triggering in case an event where he feels that the national security, the local security is tempered, right? So he's going to use it, that gun. If he's questioned, then he might say, no, I did it to protect the security, right? Probably an officer goes into a house where there's a domestic dispute happening. Two people are going to fight. Maybe one has a gun. So he may have to use that gun just to protect the other person. But one person is going to get shot by the officer. Now, how are we going to look at this incident? That's why karma is not a happy concept. It's a painful concept. Like we always try to say that, okay, we can do a very minimized job here with the karma, but karma is a very complicated concept because sometimes there will be pain. Because if you look at only the intention part, so it's the intention. But some people are very much concerned about what they do. So they should have a way to give up such jobs, do something that they are comfortable with. Some people are still okay. They say, I do this, but in my mind, I don't have wrong intentions. Just because of that, we cannot say this is better than this. But all that are choices, personal choices. Have you ever seen some people are very concerned, even they don't like something happen to even a tiny ant? See, they are hyper considered. We cannot say it's a bad thing. But some people, let's say he's driving on the road and then a bunch of animals, probably some birds, smack into his windscreen, right? So you have to keep driving on the road, right? You cannot stop your car or whatever, right? Just because they smack into your window, right? Some people take it a little lighter, but some people take it very serious, right? So I think they all are personal choices, and they will experience their karmas depending on how they think. Does it make sense, B? Okay, we got another question here. I think our previous, okay, can I say so long the main intention is, but what I don't understand is why people who are labena, labam, nichikisarata tend to progress faster compared to those who are sincere. Very interesting question. I think that is what we see everywhere in the world. Those who do those, but we have to understand that it's because of the situations in many countries, probably across the world. And if somebody is having a happy life, comfortable life, definitely they must have earned that life, depending on their past karma. But now they are earning such life differently. So they must have definitely done good karmas. But now they are creating what you call different bad karmas for next life. That is what we have to understand. So that is what I can say about it. And I don't know what you mean by progress, because progress to us is really this happiness that we create in us. It's not about the material wealth only, because although you got a lot of money and everything, but you are a sick person in your mind, that could not be the progress that we talk normally in Buddhism. Finally, I think our previous class, which teaches us about mindfulness, is very important. We just have to keep, be mindful. Yeah. Other questions about sammāājīva? We'll take another 1 to 2 minutes. Are you all doing sammāājīva type work? Just give some thoughts.
Bhante,
Right? Yes.
like my son, after him being away from me for a long time,
Mhm.
he came back. You can hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back. Then he realized he's working as a pest control. He said that's not a good thing and all that. Can you help me to find a job which involved with mechanical and repair and all that? So I told him, all the while you never come approach me. Why you now? He looked like he realized all the mistakes that he's doing. And he said he get nowhere doing all this job. And somehow there's no improvement. So I gave him the job, and now he's happy with the job. And
Yeah.
I think he's more comfortable, always smiling about with the issue.
Mhm. Yeah. So this is one good example. You know, somebody walked away at least somewhere. But at the same time, now people who might be doing the pest control work should not be taken this as a discredit to them. You know, now because of the industrialization, urbanization, pest control has been a kind of a work. So it's a choice. Those who want to join, it's a choice. But if you are hyper conscious about your morality, there's a way that you can, get rid of such.
You got to give them some time to realize.
Yeah, it takes time.
They realize, then they come for the
Yes.
help, then we give it to them. We
At
cannot
least
force them.
At least your son realized within a short period of time, but some people do not. They keep doing that till they retire, and then they worry about it. Now there is no time, because memories are more powerful than the actual actions now. The lady I told you, now she is in her retirement time. Now she can't easily convert everything in one day, in one whole practice, right? So the memories they are more powerful, although we could do something, mindfulness. Okay, yeah, we'll take only this question and then we'll go to the transfer of merits. Yeah. Please. Yeah, please unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, Bhante, then I have seen some butcher locations. Then once I ask, they are telling, okay, my boss telling to kill, so I am doing my duty, then I am killing. Then how is this Papa Karma, how it affect this commander and the executor, and how is the portion is getting this bad thing?
All right. So let's take a gang operation. There's a mastermind gangster. He's ordering for a contractor to kill someone. Sometimes contractors haven't seen the big guy. They haven't seen the people who are going to be victimized too, right? So all are carrying papa karmas, definitely, because they know this is bad. So I think if possible, trying to persuade people to walk away from such jobs and do something moral, that is nicer. Probably these jobs give some easy money, probably, right? So everybody is sharing. But I think the main one is having a lot of karma. I think high percentage of that vipaka, because he is the one who is deciding to do that. Although he is not going to visibly do that. All are carrying that, right? That is what happens. Now, there are times that many people die together, collective karmas. They have done the same thing in past life, right? They all die. 5, 6, 10 people die at the same time. Must have done the same karma. But there are other times someone is seriously injured. These things can happen, not just from the karma, but for different reasons.
Bhante, my granddaughter call you, hello, Buddha.
All right. So we'll take other questions. When someone realized, how can they repent besides change? Okay, I think remorse we call it kukucha. Kukucha is not a, what do you call, is a is a akusala chetasika, kukucha, remorse. It is good to tell us that this was not okay. Like Sadhiri's son, he realized, although he was told by, probably you might have told him, this is not a good, but he didn't understand at that time. So later on, he understood. So after you understood, do not try to be remorseful, because remorse is a part of anger, hatred. Otherwise, you will keep trying to spread hatred towards yourself. So let's say you realize today, like here, when someone realizes, how can they repent? You don't have to, because you use remorse, or I would say regret, to understand what you've been doing. And then either, if it is possible, maybe you're going to do a change of your job, not right away, probably, because you are depending on that job for your household. You should not do that right away. Slowly, you are trying to plan your work life, and then try to make everything happen in a smooth way. We are all owners of our own karma, Bhante. Is there such a thing as collective? Yes, yeah, it does. If so, which sutta? Thank you. I can't remember one particular sutta. I would say that we are, as you say here, we are owners of our own karma. But there are other factors too, like niyamas, natural disasters, law of the universe, right? And the dynamics of our mind, right? Many things can cause. Only the Buddha knows what was the real reason why this happened. If there is a sutta that I find, I'm going to send to you the name of the sutta, but at the moment I cannot remember a particular sutta. All right, so let's wind up over here. I will leave you to reflect on sammāājīva at this point. So please have more reflection on sammāājīva. At the same time, I want to say that we're going to do the next factor next Friday. It's going to be sammāvāyāma. Now we are going to the samadhi part. Today is the last day for the, which part? Sila part is finished from today. Because samma vacha, samma kammanta, sammāājīva, sila part. Then sammāvāyāma, samma sati, samma samadhi, they are samadhi part. Now we are going to samadhi part from next Friday. And the samma ditti, samma sankappa, panya part. So we started from panya, right? But after we done samadhi, we are all naturally going to the higher panya. That is what we understand about the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, so let's transfer all the good karmas to the departed relatives and to the deities, nagas, and may all the good karmas which we have been accumulating to this time be transferred to all the departed relatives that passed away in the name of all of us. If the departed people are already reborn in a place of pain, may they be able to release from that place and to be reborn in a comfortable, happy place, Kama Sugati. And then if they are already in a place of comfort, happiness, may they be able to learn, practice, and apply Dhamma into their life, and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti namotu sukita huntu. Idam me ñāti namotu sukita huntu. Idam me ñāti namotu sukita huntu. May all the good karmas be shared by all the devas, nagas, and mahikas. May they be well and happy. At the same time, may they protect and bless all of us, your family members, everybody who could join today, who could not join today, and everybody, even with Reverend Marx. Good health, quality of life, safety, prosperity, and all the good things in their lives to come, and even in this life. Finally, may Deva Naga Mahika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatan punya sampradang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatan punya sampradang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatam punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva shirang rakkang pulokasasanam. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanam. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu tvang sadati chirang rakkhantu mang paranti. Also, let us wish that we will be in the company of the noble friends or noble friendship till we attain Nibbana. Noble friendship means Kalyana Mittata. Likewise, I would say like-minded people who have the same interest to follow Dhamma continue. Imina punya kamina mami bala samagam satang samagamuhu yavanimbana pantiyam. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating so far be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang vadha pachayino chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samihinjatu. Sadhu, sadhu. Wish you a good night and see you then next Friday to discuss.
Good night,
about
Bhante.
Dhammacakkappavattana.
Thank you,
Good night,
Bhante.
everyone.
Kalyana
Bhante,
Matya.
good night.
Good night,
Good
Bhante.
night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Good night.